Hello and welcome to the Ramblings of a 42-Year-Old Man. Chris Smith here with you today. We've got a couple books to look at today. Kind of exciting for me. I received in the mail these three books: The Last Haunt by Max Booth the third, Sawtooth by Steph Nelson, and The Death Doula by Seay. And I received these because Cemetery Gates Media, the publisher of the three books, was on Twitter looking for people to review the books. And I'm like, I'm very small, my little channel here, and I really have just kind of got started doing a lot of a focus on the book reviews. But I sent them a little message asking, if they would consider sending them to me, and I received them. And I was very, very excited. So these are ARC, which is advanced review copies, and they say right on they're not for resale, which is pretty cool. They're very exciting to get. I was very happy when I received the mail. I think my wife said she started taking pictures of me because I was jumping up and down and stuff. But yeah, it was goofy. But I was very excited just to kind of maybe have a little bit of a rep as a reviewer. Would be pretty cool. But yeah, we're gonna look at these three books. I'll tell you up front here, I enjoyed all three of them. Really, really, almost surprisingly how much I enjoyed all three of them. I was just so excited to have the books that I wasn't even caring what the quality of the books were. But then I enjoyed all three of these quite a lot. So very exciting about that. They're all relatively short, novella size, and so about 100, a little over 100 pages each. And I was able to go through each of them. I spent a day and I read each one at night after putting the kids to bed, and I had a really good time with it. So we'll do a little review on each one, and then just kind of talk about my thoughts of them. So we'll start here with The Last Haunt by Max Booth III. This is the one the reason I picked this one first of the three to read was because I did recognize the name of this author. I have heard of Max Booth III before. He had one called We Need to Do Something that was turned into a movie, I believe, on Netflix that I think we watched, I think it was last year or the year before, but my wife and I both watched it. And that one was a very trippy one about a family getting stuck in their bathroom during some sort of a apocalyptic style event or something. But this one, The Last Haunt, pretty much revolves around an extreme haunted house attraction. These extreme haunted houses, if you haven't heard of them, they're big, like the movies, the houses October built and stuff like that kind of revolve around how these work. These are, you think of your Halloween Horror Night houses where they're not allowed to touch you and they can scream and try and make you jump, but there's no, they can't get in your physical space. And so extreme haunted houses are a little different. You have to sign a waiver and they can do things to you. And some of these ones, especially in the movies and stuff where maybe they are maybe even a little more extreme than real ones possibly would be, can get to some pretty far things. And the extreme haunts in this one is almost more of a torture style place. It involves waterboarding and trying to exhaust people mentally and physically, and it goes into some pretty depraved areas. But the way that this story is eventually in this extreme haunted house attraction, somebody dies. A young girl dies during the attraction. They are shut down. And then a year later, they are able to open back up, and the brother of the girl who died comes and chooses to be a participant in this reopening for his own reasons that get uncovered during the books. And that reopening of the extreme haunted house is kind of where the big finale event takes place, and it goes to some really, really surprising areas. I was not expecting where it went, but I want to talk a little bit about the style of this one. So this is written in the kind of if anyone has done World War Z, where it's kind of like the zombie apocalypse, but it's done with interviews and stuff. It's similar to that. This whole book is done after the fact of the events in an interview style. Interviewing people that worked at the haunted attraction, neighbors of the attraction, police officers in the area, things like that, and people who've gone to the attraction at some point or the other. And it's just a whole slew of interviews. There's about 4 or 5 people that are constantly coming in and out and in and out. There's some other people here and there, but the focus on the interviews is kind of these 4 or 5 people that they keep coming back to. And so I like that style. It's very much one of my favorite movies of all time is Lake Mungo, and it is filmed in that kind of style where they're interviewing this family and all the events that happened to them and stuff. And so that's kind of how this was written. It was pretty cool. I enjoyed that kind of writing style. And as I said, the way events shake out at the finale went somewhere totally different than I thought it was going to go. I really didn't have a huge expectation where I was just kind of along for the ride, but man, everything had been kind of so grounded and stuff, and all of a sudden this just real wild craziness happens at the end. I'm not going to get into it much more than that, just say that you should definitely read it and see how it is. It's very, very cool, and I did like the story, the way that it was written. I love the ending quite a bit. So that, again, is The Last Hunt by Max Booth III. Release date on this one is October 24th, and I'm sure it'll be on Amazon, or you can go to Cemetery Gates Media and probably pick it up through there. But yeah, I would definitely look at reading this one. I believe it might even be on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have a Kindle Unlimited plan, you'd probably be able to read this right there on your Unlimited plan. But I hope you do. It was enjoyable. So again, Last Hunt by Max Booth. Let's jump on our next one. All right, so the next one I picked up to read was Sawtooth by Steph Nelson. And Sawtooth is about a woman who is hiking up this mountain trail to get to this alpine lake to disperse the ashes of her recently deceased wife. And so as she's going up, she does all that. When she's coming down, she starts to be stalked by some sort of mysterious creature. You're thinking maybe, Bigfoot or some sort of cryptid. But I'll just say that the creature here is not like anything that you have ever seen before. It's very, very interesting what it ends up being. And I was just really taken aback by how thought-provoking it all was. So Taryn, she's hiking up the mountain. She's not really much of a hiker. Her wife was always the more of the outdoorsy one, but her wife wanted to have her ashes spread at this lake up in this mountain area. So she's hiking up there. She does get up there. She does the ash dispersal and everything. And on her way back down, she notices she's being stalked by this creature. She gets to an accident where she hurts herself, and now she's injured, alone on this trail with this creature that's stalking her. And then it does, like I said, it goes into some very interesting places from there. I would just like to say, I don't want to spoil anything of it, but the ending of this book and some of the choices Taryn makes at the ending of this book are have just melted my brain a little bit. I still think about it now, and I actually had to when I put down the book, I had to tell my wife about the story and how it ended and just kind of get her feelings on it, because kind of the choices that they were made, and are they, I don't want to say the correct choices, but I mean, they're the correct choices for what Taryn has gone through, for sure, but just if you were faced with a choice like that, would you go the same route or not? And it was very, very interesting. The next one we'll talk about, Death Doula, has kind of a similar thing where a choice was made at the end that really kind of threw me for a loop. But this was it was emotional, and I didn't necessarily expect that on a book that looks to me like it could be just like a Bigfoot book, but it's not where it goes. This goes in some much better places, much stronger emotional ties, and I love this one quite a bit. This was, of the three of them, I liked all of them. I think this one was my favorite one of the three, and that is Sawtooth by Steph Nelson. Its release date is a little bit later out. It's November 21st. And I would definitely say grab this one as soon as you're able to, because it was awesome to read. The ending, again, just kind of threw me, and I've been thinking about it ever since I finished reading it. All right, last of the three that I read, this was actually just read it last night, is The Death Doula by Ali Seay. Ali Seay, I believe is how you pronounce the last name, Seay. And this one was, again, I mentioned, we're just talking about Sawtooth. The ending of this one really put some wild thoughts into my head. But the story revolves around a death doula, which until last night I had no idea that this was a thing. These are people that pretty much they help like terminally ill people who are on their kind of last days, and evidently they help them with like maybe making their final decisions and choices and things that they have to do for how they're going to pass away. And then if there's nobody to be with them, they will be with them in their final moments. I had never heard of anything like that before. I told my wife, she's like, oh yeah, it's similar to like the birth doula, which is a thing too, of people who are with pregnant women throughout their whole process. And again, I had no idea. So a death doula, when I first got the book, I'm like, what is that? And then I realized it's actually a real thing. So this one, we're with a death doula. Her name is Marky, and she has been called in from her hospice care to go be with this old man in his home as he is on his way out. He's very close to dying, and just there's nobody else to be with him, so she goes to be with him. And when she gets into the house, that's when all the craziness kind of ensues, and it goes in some crazy places. Eventually, somehow she is not even able to physically leave the house, and after that, things start to get really, really bonkers as you go through. And again, similar to Sawtooth, some of the emotion in this book involves a relationship. This case is not her wife; it's her ex-girlfriend. That a lot of this back and forth with the relationship between those two people and the fallout from that relationship really, really plays a lot into the ending, which, as I said, was kind of a sucker punch of an ending for me, and really left me thinking quite a bit. So, yeah, that's The Death Doula, and that one comes out November 7th, and I would definitely want to pick that one up as well. A lot of strong emotions in this one, really good horror as well. I would say of the three of them, this one probably has the most scares in it. Definitely more some gore, possibly a little bit for you, and just maybe a little more on the horror side. Sawtooth, I think, even with the name, is much more of a emotional book. What this one has some good emotion, but also has a lot of good horror in it as well. So that's The Death Doula by Seay, November 7th. I would pick that one up, and yeah, another one that I enjoyed quite a bit. All right, so with that, those are my first three ARC reviews. I want to thank Cemetery Gates Media for sending me those. I was very, very excited to get them. I was very, very excited to read them, and I was really, really happy with all three of them. I really enjoyed reading all three of them. I think Sawtooth was amazing. The Last Haunt and The Death Doula were really great books as well, and 3 for 3 on getting review copies of books that I really, really enjoyed. So thank you again to Cemetery Gates Media for those, and thank you to Max Booth III and Steph Nelson and Ali C for writing such amazing stories. I was very happy to have a chance to catch those. I've thrown some reviews on Goodreads, which is a new thing for me too. I have not actually done Goodreads before, so I signed into Goodreads this morning and got some reviews on these 3 books. And yeah, along with the YouTube reviews I always do, I'll probably start doing that more with some of the reading I do. Try to get into some Goodreads reviews and stuff. But yeah, as I said, for my first 3 ARC books, I was very, very happy with the quality that I received. Loved them all, and I really, really recommend The Last Haunt, that comes out October 24th, The Death Doula coming out on November 7th, and Sawtooth, high recommend Sawtooth, coming out on November 21st. As always, thank everybody for watching, for listening, and hope you have a great day and read something spooky. Bye.